When you grow older, it's really hard to stand for a long time. So that's why I have a chair here. So my name is Guan Hin. Thanks, Harry, for the incredible introduction. So as you know, with a lot of Chinese names, it's quite tough to pronounce, right? Is it Guan? You don't want to offend us. So it's very simple for my name, which I shared with people. It's One. Remember One with the G. So G-O-N-E. So it's not gone. I'm still here. It's just Guan, okay? And if you like to reach me, my Instagram handle is One and Only. Yeah. One and Only. So it's very simple. Yeah. So today, I would like to talk about personal branding and creative leadership. And creative leadership, even though if you're a junior art director or a copywriter, you always need to kind of rise to the top and become a thought leader. So for the last 30 years as a creative director working in JWT, Gray, and the last one, BBDO, we've faced many changes in our industry, correct? I mean, we've got now tech, we've got AI. What's next, right? Every day, we're facing some challenges. And this isn't the first collision we faced, right? So maybe some of you might not remember. There was a term called traditional photography. And now with digital photography, it's just taken over. It's become second nature. We had the internet, we had social media, data, programmatic data. So the changes happen in a very fast pace, and we need to really keep up with it. And obviously, with changes, we need to overcome through our resilience and also through our, the way we adapt and grow. So today, I'm talking about collision, right? So what is collision, anyone? I mean, collisions is about facing challenging situations that we're not only able to overcome, but we need to grow at the same time, okay? So I'm not going to talk about, after this talk, you're going to start a fight among yourselves. It is about facing collisions that comes naturally in our personal journey. And these collisions might seem uncomfortable and strange, but if you're able to harness the collisions, it will transform, hopefully, the way you do things and those around you. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 simple themes, right? The first theme is about staying authentic despite the challenges. The second theme is about defining your identity. And the third theme is about building a legacy through meaningful connections. So these are not just fluffy, abstract ideas. These will be real strategies that hopefully you can take it today and apply it to your lives tomorrow. And hopefully you'll be able to transform the people around you. So let's talk about being authentic here. How many of you here have had an uncomfortable struggle discovering who you are? Anyone? Finding your true identity. Yeah, we all face it. And at times when you are, facing this thing, we always avoid it. We always turn to someone, hide behind someone else, but we hardly show our true identity. Yeah. But personal branding is most powerful when people know who you are and people know exactly what you stand for and your values. And today I'm talking about personal branding, no matter if you're working for a corporation, personal branding if you want to be an influencer or TikTok, but personal branding is key in achieving your career throughout your journey. My journey actually started with a big collision in my life because I had a big fight with my parents, and it was a big struggle. So today I'm going to share with you a personal journey that hopefully you can learn from, and also hope to apply it in your lives. So I was born into a family of doctors. Yeah, my brother, who you probably might know on the right side, he's the happiest brother I've ever known. And my mother is a GP, general practitioner, and she's a doctor. She has a clinic named after my brother and I. So obviously, when you got two kids, how do you name your company, right? So my brother's name is Tay Guan Hin. My name is Tay Guan Hin. And my mom said, heck it, let's call it Tay Guan Clinic. Save the trouble from all the squabbles. My brother now, Tay Guan Yu, is working as a doctor in Singapore. My father, who passed away about 2 years ago, is probably the most famous doctor in the family. He is the first doctor in Southeast Asia to have a disease named after him, called the Tay syndrome. And during that time, he was always never home. Obviously, he's seeing a lot of patients, giving his time to help them with all their needs. And my parents, as you know, you must have a lot of Asian friends. They all want their kids to be overachievers, ambitious. So you're either a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. And that was in the 1970s. But so my parents forced me to be a doctor. But there was one small little problem. I couldn't study. And I just love to draw, right? So this is the comic books. It's Spider-Man. And while kids were all studying very hard, I created lots of comic books because I love to draw, right? And when you're reading the textbooks, I'll take the textbooks and create stories also in the textbooks. And I don't know whether you remember, within the corners of the book, you can create beautiful animation through flipbooks, right? So the more I drew, the more the teachers got really, really, really pissed off, right? Yeah. So this is one of them, created through Midjourney. So the teachers were really, really furious, and that they complained to my parents. Obviously, my parents were really, really disappointed. So I did the next best thing. I started to draw even more. And that was something that changed my life, right? Because even though it was not meeting their expectations, right? And I was the oldest child in the family, it taught me something really, really important. I think it taught me that when you choose a different path that is really, really uncomfortable, something happens. You grow up. And you also learn to deal with resilience, right? So this collision caused a lot of tension, caused a lot of conflict between me and my parents. And as we know, we don't like to have conflict. But collision and the conflict helped me to grow as a person, right? And the importance of staying true, for this instance, my passion as a creative person. Because if not, I will be a really horrible, horrible doctor, and I will probably not be meeting the wonderful folks here today. So that opportunity to stand up got me to where I am today. If not, I'll be talking to a bunch of medical kids. Yeah. So, and the courage to walk this path, right now it's easy to talk about it, right? But at that time when I was about 12 was really difficult. Because obviously, being a doctor is more prestigious. But if you're born in a family of doctors, like, what can you do for art in the 70s? A starving artist, a person that does drawings. So it's really limited. But the good news is that eventually my parents saw the potential and I pursued my career, right? So then I started to study in the school, the Arts Center College of Design in Pasadena. There was a school like that in Europe till 1996, I believe. And there is one in Berlin. And this school totally changed my life. It was a fantastic school. So the first few days, the first few months, I was so excited, right? I was like, yes, I can do it. But over time, my confidence started to waver. You see, when you are in a foreign country, something changes. Because you're not the majority anymore, you are the minority. That's what the last speaker spoke, right? And as the only Asian student in my school, studying advertising design was incredibly difficult. So I didn't know, like in Los Angeles, I had to know all the sitcoms, like Friends. I had to know all the movies, and sometimes, greeting people like, hey, how's it going? It was a greeting, and then when I started to pour my life away, they just walked away. Like, what's going on, right? So I faced a lot of prejudice, and I could remember, someone asking me, I had to answer these questions. Oh, Singapore's not in China. It's not in China, right? And yes, I do not know all the Bruce Lee kicks, but if you want me to show you, I can just give you a personal demonstration. So I felt really left out, undervalued, and all my ideas, which I thought was great, was not picked, or was heavily criticized for no good reason. So it was really, really tough to face those challenges. But throughout all these things, I had to prove to myself, and I was determined to win. Because when you're faced with these things, right, you can either be destroyed or be depressed, or you can take this challenge and turn it around, right? Because these challenges will help define you. So after the whole semester, I was walking into class, and it was the first student award competition in Los Angeles, open to the entire country. Obviously, all the students there like, yeah, I'm going to win. Don't worry, it's cool. And I thought, what the heck? I'll just submit and see what happened. So the big day came, right, which is happening tonight, where everyone is going to pick up a gold, silver, and bronze. So I sat there, like among you, and all my classmates took turn to receive, like a gold, clapping, a silver, clapping, a bronze, clapping. And every time they clapped, I would actually be more and more depressed until I went all the way down. And I was thinking to myself, should I sneak out before the end of the show? So I started to walk away slowly, and then this thing popped up. What? It was the best of show. Yeah. And this moment, for all you who win the first show, is the best thing that happened to your life. I think it's better than even a one-show pencil, Kevin. Sorry. Because I could see my classmate's face as I walked to collect. And it was just a simple plastic trophy. But it was the best plastic trophy I've ever received. And this confidence, right, this moment has given me the confidence to stand on my own terms, which is really important. So every conflict or every collision you face, if you can overcome it with resilience and with hard work, it makes you a lot stronger. And I learned that resilience can transform a collision into a fuel that continues to, move you forward even better. So as I'm telling my story, think about what you have faced, right? You have all faced some criticism. You have all faced some disappointment. You have faced some way that puts you down. But what you do with it is going to be really, really important. And, and this is where being authentic really, really matters. Again, no technology can replace our unique voice. And this is something that we need to kind of try and define our identity, which comes to the next point. Define your identity. So once you're able to hopefully be more authentic in terms of, despite your challenges, it is important to help shape your own unique identity. So that's key. Look among ourselves, right? We're all doing the same jobs. We're all going to the same companies. But if you don't stand out to have your own individual identity, you're not going to get the next job. You're not going to be able to be seen at the same time. So the identity you hold today won't be the same tomorrow. So you need to evolve, okay? Especially in a world that keeps evolving. When I started as a junior art director, right, I was really, really, really scared to present to the clients, right? So every time when I had to present, I would be trembling, I would mispronounce my words. And it was really tough to be able to get across what I wanted to say. And this is something that, when you look at all the great speakers, right, they stand firm. That's the way they sort of push, the way they pronounce the words, the vocals. But I've learned one thing that's really interesting. So a coach told me, and I was training, he said, Guan, listen here, don't panic. People might not buy what you say. People believe how passionate you feel. Like, wow. And then that started it opened up a whole new thing, because even if you mispronounce your words, even if you say the wrong things, your passion is more powerful than anything else. Your sincerity, your belief, and the way you come across. So here's the most important lesson, right? That people buy passion, people do not buy perfection. By being imperfect, it is more powerful to be able to come across as a real human being. Yeah? And the world doesn't need another AI-created you, right? Because everything that's technology-based is very predictable. The imperfections is what makes you unique, the imperfect beauty. So when I was working in Saatchi's and Saatchi's, that's 1997, that's where with David Droger, I was really intimidated. That's where, we won the International Agency Ad Agency of the Year from Singapore itself. And I had to face a corporate culture that was very strong in the branding. But that environment helped me to, even though my voice was still small, was to amplify my own voice through this corporate culture. And the only way to amplify your voice is that you own something meaningful that you can bring value to the table. Or you have something of an expert opinion that nobody else has. So this is something critical that if you want to have a voice within a corporate structure, why would people listen to you? Over time, I started to be very interested in public speaking. So public speaking isn't just someone just going through the notes and presenting to you. Public speaking has now become a tool to project, to influence, to tell your stories in a way that's really, really authentic. And it's a platform to share my journey. And hopefully, if you take on public speaking, you actually achieve to be a better thought leader as opposed to your friends or colleagues or even your boss. Because public speaking allows you to be a thought leader in sharing your superpower in terms of what you want to own. So in context of what we're facing right now with technology, right, it is important to find your identity within this complicated world of sameness, because if you don't, you become quite invisible. So AI might streamline many things and be efficient, but it's your bold voice that's going to stand out. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is about building a legacy through meaningful connections. So legacy sounds like a long thing, but it starts where you're sitting right now, because if you don't start building now, you're not going to build it at all, right? So legacy is not about winning awards. Legacy is not about saying how good I am, and legacy is not about all the big titles you're going to achieve. Legacy is about inspiring people, is about creating impactful connections that the next generation can effectively talk about you, right? So when I joined the One Club, one of the things that really helped me to build was mentoring the young creative. So programs like Portfolio Night helps me to sort of give back to the community, but it also allows me to learn at the same time. So I think legacy this time could be built through mentoring, teaching the next generation to be able to grow, and they will find their own voice, as they achieve in life, right? And the next legacy I want to talk about is this book I've written, which is just published recently, right? So this is from Penguin, and Penguin is an international publisher. And what I like about, what I'm trying to achieve here is that I wanted this book to be able to influence my thoughts, but most importantly, talk about the journeys I've faced. and to create a lasting impact. And if you, I mean, listen, a lot of people want to write a book, but to actually finally write it, it is really difficult. So during COVID, everybody has great plans, right? So during COVID, I posted on LinkedIn saying in 2020 to say that this book is going to come out in 1 year. So after 2021, nothing happened. It was really sad. And what pushed this, right, was me to be able to find something that I can talk to. You know that, when you, especially as a senior creative, it's very tough that people keep asking you, oh, so what did you win? Yeah, I won last year's Cannes Lions. And if you don't win anything next year, what happens? You're old. You're old. So the legacy with this book allows me to create content that hopefully can last a lot longer because it's not, it's not an award, but it also allows people to be able to know more about you, and that's why you're able to share. So one of the things I wanted to do as I talk to you about meaningful communication or meaningful sort of connections, right? If I were to sort of launch a book, where would I normally launch a book, guys? Anyone? If you were to launch a book, where would you launch a book? Yeah, at a bookshop. Is that predictable? Yeah. So I wanted to have a meaningful connection. When I was young, I did not realize, but I was tested for ADHD. So I'm standing here talking to you from a neurodiverse person. And I wanted to support the ADHD community. So I did not launch the book in a bookshop. I launched it in a museum. And the museum had all the wonderful art pieces found in the book here. At the same time, the artist that's being shown here, they created the first live drawing based on collision, and every single, it was auctioned, and the book sales and the painting were auctioned into the organization. So that was my way to create a bit of legacy, but also to have a meaningful connection. Would you want to see the video? Oh yeah, by the way, there's also a Malay person playing Chinese instruments. Don't tell me how I found it, but I just wanted to create a bit of interesting, content. Yeah, it's just something simple, just hopefully you get to see a flavor. So, I mean, the titles that we hold are not based on this, right? I mean, sorry, the value that we have in terms of, leaving a legacy. Hopefully, if this is about leaving a legacy, then you're probably in the wrong place. I think leaving a legacy is about inspiring the next generation. Sorry. It's inspiring the next generation, but it's also to be able to feel, it's important to be able to give them something to hope for, right? And my journey and the understanding of, dealing with all these started when I had a personal issue myself. So I'm really going to share with you a personal story, and hopefully this is a metaphor in terms of how I grew, right? So when I was really young, I mean, you could probably see I have a cleft lip. And having a cleft lip actually discarded my confidence. Having a cleft lip led to a lot of people teasing me. Having a cleft lip sort of, I lost a lot of my own self, right? Because obviously you're questioning whether I'll be truly accepted by other people. And so entering the next chapter of my life, right? I've never realized that someone, could be part of, someone could be in my life and could turn things around. And this person, so I met this person that changed my perception, and she saw me for who I truly was. imperfections and all. And she helped me to realize that it's just beyond your title, it's beyond what you do, but there was something that I needed to connect with her. So many years ago, she has a brother called Moses. So Moses was dying of leukemia, right? Moses dying of leukemia. And she told me that a doctor would always come bringing him toys so he'll feel comfortable. He'll feel comfortable. Because when he's comfortable, maybe his illness feels a bit less devastating. And one of the toys was a teddy bear. One of the toys was a teddy bear. Yeah. And I was very, very curious when I spoke to her. I said, hey, this teddy bear, could I see it? So she went to the room and brought me the teddy bear, right? And she shared with me the teddy bear. So as I saw the teddy bear come closer, I was shocked. Yeah. Because I had a teddy bear just like that. Because the doctor was my father. Yeah. The doctor was my father. So I know, because at that moment, I was wondering where my toys went, right? It was, I couldn't find them. So my father was actually the doctor that was helping Moses, try to heal. But at the same time, he was the person that really helped with giving the toys away. So this instant connection was so powerful that our relationship grew over time, right? And she showed me that genuine connections is the key in terms of how she and I connected. And this picture here is my wife for the last 27 years. Now we've got, 3 kids. And it was, yeah. So I think what I wanted to really share with you that, through her, I realized that no matter how imperfect I feel, someone will love you if you have some meaningful connections, right? And someone could love you for who you truly, truly are. In closing, I just want to say that, hopefully here that you will embrace your collisions, because collision is a choice that we have to make today, whether you're embracing with AI or you're facing every challenges in your journey, but it's important. It's about taking steps to overcome things that you're not comfortable with, and putting yourself out there so you can face it head on, but to learn to adapt, to grow, and to become the best version of yourselves. I've used this philosophy and it's evolved my life, and I'm still work in progress, right? I'm still not perfect, even after 60 years. So remember to stay authentic despite the challenges. Find your unique voice within this competitive market space and build a legacy through meaningful connections. Because when you do it, it will transform your lives and people around you. Okay? Yeah. Hey, one more thing. Do you want to know what happened to the teddy bear? Yeah. So, well, that's good. Who said that? Yeah. So Moses passed on, very sadly, but the teddy bear was passed on to my daughter Megan. Yeah, to my daughter Megan. So this actually is the final conclusion. What started as an act of kindness grew a legacy of love from one generation to another, all because of a very powerful, meaningful connection. Thank you so much.